Hey, welcome back. Got a good one for you today. It's not VR 180, but it's going to be a special show. And the reason it's not VR 180, you'll find out right after this. All right, let's get right into it. Today, I have a special guest with me, my son, Blake. Say hi, Blake.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
All right, and today we're going to be trying Elijah Craig. Now, Blake has had some alcohol before. He's in his 20s, so of course he's been there, but he's never had it out of a Glencairn glass. And of course, I don't use a typical Glencairn glass, but it's the same principle of it. But when he expressed interest in trying bourbon this way, I recommended Elijah Craig. So there you have it. I would recommend it to my own son as a good beginner bourbon. So I'm going to pop the cork. There. Good cork pop. Now, I usually only pour it about a finger in there.
All right, and all right, you said about a
Yeah,
finger.
I usually only pour just a finger.
Okay. Let's see.
Good enough. All right. And now, normally what I do at this point is swirl it and get some air in it. It gets those notes going, gets a little air in it. And you can also get a ring going around the glass. And then that will kind of give you an idea of what the legs are on it. And when I talk about legs, I mean the oils in the bourbon and how it's going to coat my tongue and all of that. It's got some beads, but that'll get more pronounced later. So I'm going to nose this thing. When I nose it, I keep my my lips apart. I keep my mouth open so that it'll flow through. Just kind of wave it back under the nostrils. And on that, I immediately get the vanilla and the caramelly fresh fruit notes off of it.
Yeah, definitely vanilla. That's the strongest.
Yep. And that's going to be your typical bourbon notes. Pretty good legs on this thing. It's got some good fat beads coming down. They're running a little fast. Some of the bourbons will go slower. I'm not saying this is a high-end bourbon by any stretch of the means, but it is a great starter bourbon. Once we get some more air in here, get those wood notes to come out. It's not going to have a lot of wood in it. Typically, what I get out of this is vanilla, caramel, a fresher apple, maybe a pear, and some honeysuckle, but you really have to dig for those notes. When I sip it, I don't take a lot on that first sip. It's going to be hotter on that first sip. So just get a little bit and move it around in your mouth just a little before you swallow. Be just a little warm on the tip of the tongue. And I don't try to dissect too many notes off that first sip because it's your first sip of the day. It's not going to, I want to get a good tongue coating and then continue with the notes after that. But I definitely got a sweet kick off that thing.
Yeah, I was going to say that was way sweeter than I thought it would be. It's really sweet.
Yeah, some people talk about chewing on bourbon. Um, what I do is I force it all over my tongue. That way, I'm picking up notes all the way around, um, and I'm warming it just a little bit. I think the notes come out better on the finish if it's a little warmer. If you just shoot a shot and it's chilled, you're not going to get that. But the reason people shoot a chilled shot is so they don't get all that burn on the back. But I'm getting some warmth in the back, a pretty good finish on it. And when I talk about the finish, I'm talking about when I swallow after it, I can still taste some of those sweeter notes or those like darker caramels or something in the back. This one doesn't have a super long finish, but it'll give you a little hug. But what are we talking about here? 94 proof. I have a 127 if you want to try it. But I have reviewed this bourbon. I really, really like this bourbon. It is sweet. You're getting the caramel, you're getting the vanilla. But tell us, Blake, is your reaction to this?
I like this. I really like this. Definitely. I mean, yeah, when I first smelled it, and on the first sip, it was really just kind of the vanilla, and just really. I guess I wasn't expecting it really to be sweet, and it was way sweeter than I was expecting it to be. But like so now on the second sip, I'm kind of able to taste a little bit more. And I think since you mentioned the pear, that's really sticking out to me now. I definitely like some honey, but that kind of goes in a little bit with the vanilla and caramel. But yeah, no, that pear definitely sticks out. But I'm trying to think if there's anything else really like, because I'm not getting really any kind of like a dark caramel, like a butterscotch or anything. It's definitely not a dark flavor. It's a much lighter flavor than I was kind of expecting.
Oh yeah, and this is why I recommended this one. Yeah, and you have to be careful about having the power of suggestion, and but sometimes that's good when you're first starting out to picking up notes is to get some of those suggestions, and I guess that's why people like to watch videos, and I watch other people's videos. I just don't try. I try not to watch a video or read about notes I'm supposed to be getting out of a bourbon before I review it. I want that. I have my notes that I go to that I look for. But I've talked before about bourbon notes being a personal thing. If you've never, I mean, you'd have to live under a rock, but if you've never smelled clove before, how do you know to express the sensation is cloves? But when you get into ryes and things like that, those spicier bourbons with the floral notes, and there will be some clove in there. But yeah, this is a young. Well, I don't. I'm not going to call it young in the barrel, but it's a very tame mash bill, and it's on the sweeter side, the wheater bourbon, wheated. Bourbon has to be 51% or more corn. It can be 100%, but it has to be at least 51% corn. In the mash bill. The other grains that can be used are wheat, rye, and typically barley. Barley is going to give you nuttier notes. Rye is going to give you more floral, spicy notes, and wheat is going to complement the corn. And some people call it a bready note, like a fresh baked pretzel or something. But the longer it's aged, the more wood notes you'll get. But there's also different chars that they can put on the barrels.
Yeah.
And some bourbons will say things like there's a number 4 char or whatever. But like I said, I don't do a lot of research on them because I don't want to be influenced by that. But the longer we sit here, the better the legs are getting. I'm getting a good clean on this glass. And Elijah Craig does give you a good coating for the price.
Yeah, this was not expensive at all. Especially, I mean, they had the little half fifth pint bottle, whatever you want to call it, 375.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, it was less than $20. It was, I think, less than 15. So not bad at all. And I mean, this'll,
Yeah, I think I
sipping on it
paid
like this, like this will
around.
last a while.
Yeah, I think I paid like 35 to 40 for this or something. You know, it was under.
Yeah.
It was sub $40 bourbon.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we tried it. I think we've gone on long enough here. I think we can wrap this up. But as an end note, was your experience good or bad?
No, this was really good. Yeah, no, the sweetness surprised me. So that definitely thumbs up on that. No, but overall,
All
I
right.
mean, it wasn't like a dark, burnt flavor like you get in a lot of whiskeys. It's definitely more refined, I guess, smooth. It was very smooth, much smoother than I was expecting. Even on the first sip, it was hot on the front of the tongue, but it didn't burn on the back of the tongue as much as I thought it would.
All right. Well, if this quarantine ever lifts and you get to come visit, I have 57. Well, no, now I bought three more today.
Oh wow.
Well, unique bourbons. I have some duplicates up there. I have 60 bottles, but I have about 55. And I have some Tennessee whiskeys in there too, and some other things. I have Whistle Pig, the 100% rye. But we'll get into all that later. But hopefully we can get a vaccine and get some things going. But guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you so much, Blake, for doing this video with me. And I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you continue to want to build your taste for bourbon because it's a really fun thing to do. With that, please like and subscribe. Hit that bell down there for notifications. And as always, I promise I'll keep bringing you these videos.